The other thing that I'd like to announce is that it's been a great 5-year run, but I'm going to be stepping down as president of the Wireless Technology Forum. And we've got a slate of candidates that I will show you in just a second. You'll get an email in the next 30 days to vote on the slate of new leadership. It's been a fun ride, but it's time for me to move on and let some new leadership take over. We've built this organization into something that it was beyond my wildest dreams, and we've got a great bench here that will take over. And I'm not going away completely. I'll be doing sponsorship going forward, but we've got some new blood coming in. And I'm sure that I'll miss a few people, but just want to thank some of the people that made this happen along the way.
Maury, thank you for your comments, and certainly you've done a wonderful job as a founder and president of this organization. Everybody should give you a round of applause for all that work you've done. And we're very fortunate tonight to have people on this panel who know about mobile, have had success in mobile, have funded mobile, and offer some comments about what it takes to succeed in this industry, and wants to take questions from the audience on what's on your mind. And I suspect, prediction, being an analyst, somebody in this room has got an idea that will grow into an exciting venture. And I hope whoever that is, one of these people up here will have a chance to fund you or your team. You can see that we have 4 individuals. Nelson Chu of Kinetic Ventures. I'm going to let each of them tell you a little bit about their focus and the stage that they like to look at. And then I'll ask a few questions about what it takes to make a successful enterprise in mobile and wireless, and then we'll take questions from the audience. Nelson Chu, Kinetic Ventures. Nelson, raise your hand there so people know who you are. I know Nelson, he's head of the Atlanta Venture Forum and very active in venture capital. I've known him a long time, as the others. We have Mike Elliott down here, and, of course, at the well-known firm Nora Mosley, one of the original venture firms in Atlanta. Saeed Mohammedan here, to my immediate right, on your left. And Rahul Saxena right here. Rahul is with Seraph Group, and Seraph Group is an early stage angel-oriented partnership that funds very early stage type deals. So
I am an entrepreneur historically. I started 2 companies. Synchrologic actually was a company that Sanjay Malik had started, and he recruited me as an investor, and then he left to go do other exciting things, and there I was.
I'm here in Atlanta, and then Cam Lanier spends time with us. He joined us about 1.5 years ago, and I have 2 partners up in D.C. But the real thing to remember is we do invest nationally. I'd say probably 30 to 40% of our investments tend to be on the West Coast, the other third in our local markets, and then the rest kind of scattered between Boston and the Midwest.
Seraph Group is a very unusual structure. It doesn't really have the common VC, general partner, limited partner structure. Well, maybe it is legally that way, but you operate quite differently, and I thought it would be interesting to share a little bit about how you're structured and how you look at deals as well, Rahul.
Absolutely. We are a hybrid angel VC firm, so we have about 140 high net worth individuals across the country. They've all put in money into a general fund, and the fund is managed by a small investment committee who has the decision-making power to do any deal.
Mike, we're glad to have you from Nora Mosley, one of the firms that has a long history here in Atlanta, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Nora Mosley.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us all. And let me just give you, I know many of you know our partners or some of our partners in Nora Mosley. We've been investing in the Southeast for 27 years or something like that. And over the last decade, we've tightened our focus.
What advice could you give to people who really may have an excellent business idea? What do they need to do to prepare themselves so that they can get serious consideration?
Don't do it.
Okay, now we're moving on to the next, no, I mean,
Being an entrepreneur is a very risky business. I used to be much taller and had a full head of hair when I started. So it's something that you take on if you're really, really passionate about some idea and you have particular knowledge or expertise that's unique.
Our take on it is that in terms of understanding the market, so dig a couple layers more granular. What does that mean? That means that you have a very deep understanding of who's the customer and what's the problem that you're solving for them and why their natural inclination is to say no. Typically, what we like to look for is kind of a 4 to 5 times performance improvement, meaning if it's same performance, it's 1/5 the cost, or if it's the same cost, it's 5 times faster or better. But that actually varies by sector. So in storage, I learned this the hard way, that's actually a 10 times or more improvement.
So for us being early stage, the main thing is capital efficiency. When you're coming up with your plan, making sure that if it's going to require a ton of money to get it going and to compete with the big guys that are out there, that you're going to be able to raise the money and eventually, sell a company to give the investor the returns that they want. Capital efficiency is, on an early stage when you're coming up with a plan, it's looking at the team. If it's a technical solution, you got to make sure you have a technical person as a co-founder. One rule of thumb I have is that, if I can take the business plan and on my own from scratch, do what they're doing and make more progress on it, than they can, it's not a good idea. There has to be something that the co-founders are bringing to the table that I can't replicate and is something unique.
I'll second what's said.
Sure.
Maniacal focus on the customer, how they're thinking and what they're buying and why. We really spend a lot of time on that. The other thing that we do, we're not looking to build a back door the minute we write a check to you or someone raising capital, but we are thinking very hard about exits. Our business, this industry of venture capital and entrepreneurs is maturing. One of the things that's happened over the last 10 years is the number of exits and liquidity for us and for our investors has really put pressure on all of us as investors to find those companies that can create exits in a meaningful timeline. That's a financial game, and it doesn't have anything to do with passion and vision and things like that, but it is a reality of where we are.
you have a good first meeting. Do you write the check next week? I don't think so, but do you end up finding that you can decide in a reasonable time? What kind of process you go through?
Making the decision to write a check within a couple, 3 weeks. And sometimes it's a courtship that lasts 2 years.
We can make decisions quick enough on the ones that we wouldn't be interested in. The ones that we do want to move forward, it could be a 6-week process or so.
Because this is a people game, our partners can react very differently to a business plan and its presentation. And I would tell you, we really are looking for people who are open to new ideas, not that we're going to have them. I mean, the wireless and mobile world, everybody here knows more about that than I do, though I invest in it. But we want to work with people who will listen. Our biggest asset is pattern recognition. That's what we bring to the table, investing in 170 companies throughout the Southeast for 20-something years.
This notion of location-based services, and the problem that could be solved, that you could be solving there, is how do you help these carriers who are being marginalized down to nothing take advantage of the information that they have? A lot of detailed usage about where you are, when you're talking. Can you actually help them monetize that data? There are a bunch of startups that have gotten going in that area as well. So that's an example of helping the customer think about what the problem is that they've got to solve.
Okay, thank you for that. I certainly want to have you all give a round of applause for our panelists who really gave us some good comments this evening.